Hey, has anybody heard the new Eminem track, Houdini? Is it cool or is it cringe? Let's discuss. All right, this thing just dropped. Um, what, 30 million views in a couple days. Okay. Um, so first, I'd like to say, taken in a vacuum on its own, just the song, the video, I would say definitely cool. This is, I guess, arguably vintage Eminem. It's the Slim Shady thing. It kind of continues in his style from, a lot of his older videos. I just wanted to play. The coolest part of the song for me was just this cadence or this type of rapping. I think he's done this before, but I really like this. I want to play just one small part. Hopefully we don't get claimed. Here we go. Let's try. Really, really cool. That's all we'll play. We'll see if that gets us claimed or not. Um, okay, so now here's where it gets a little bit interesting. Just by itself, totally cool video. I love it. I really like the self-deprecating humor too. He's making fun of his age throughout it. It just brings back a lot of really good memories. He hits all of the nostalgia chords. So here's one concern, or here's what I guess one thing that might pull me more towards cringe and not so much cool is when I take in the context of 15, 20 years of listening to Eminem. Um, so just to kind of describe my point of view about this, let me tell you about the most impactful moment I think that Eminem has had on my life. That would be when he released the Lose yourself in the music. The moment you own it, you gotta never let it go. Oh, that was an amazing song. I think I was just getting out of college, and at the time, the intellectual elite of at college, the musicians, the music majors, all those people. I talked to everybody there, and rap and hip hop. At that time, was just not. They didn't consider it music, and the reasoning is it's not music because the rapping has no melody, and without melody, it can't be music. And I mean, they were like steadfast in that view. It was kind of awkward, and I would always argue with them. No, pretty much anything is music, but I just couldn't get past that the rapping wasn't akin to singing. And you could never convince them, and they would always hang out in groups. So Eminem released the song "Lose Yourself," and I remember going back. I think it was the year after we graduated, going back to a party and seeing a whole bunch of these people, and everybody's talking. And as expected, we get into the conversation about rap or hip hop, and it's Eminem. Is Eminem music, right? And all those same people say, no, he's still just rapping. And I remember one of the somebody else, who just random guy who was there, he came up and made a comment. He he didn't know any of us, so he was just kind of talking, but he had overheard the conversation, and he said, I don't really care whether you call it music or not. I just really, really like listening to it. Like, it's awesome. And I think it had come on the radio. Like, everybody there was listening to it and getting into it. I mean, to me, that song kind of bridged the gap between rock and rap in a mainstream way, where it took it, and I mean, that song to me was at the level of a pop song, right? But it had all the intensity and the emotion of a rock song, and it had all the brilliant, just the lyricism and the rapping and the cadence of a really, really good rapper. And I mean, just, it was great, and it flooded the college campuses, and like, everybody was listening to it. It didn't matter. You didn't have to be from a certain group or a certain whatever to enjoy the song. It just really united and resonated with people. So he was awesome, and I saw him as an iconic and a very important figure, and just somebody who kind of just took us to a new place. It really it's like he had mastered the rap or the hip hop, and then he had kind of branched out or branched forward and said, "Hey, here's kind of a rock vibe," and I mean, it almost sounds like a pop song in a way, and that everybody loved it. It was fantastic. Definitely brought together different opposing viewpoints, and it finally let me go up to the snobby musicians and say, "Hey, you know what? This is music. Like you got over 50% of the world's listening to this song and has enjoyed it, and there is definitely singing and melody in it too. So, Eminem is awesome." I didn't kind of hear too much about him after that, just kind of getting into different things. But then, sometime, years later, he ended up being in some political thing. And I don't remember his politics, and I don't remember the message. I'm sure I bet you if you type in Eminem politics, it probably comes right up. What got me though is that like all the major news networks picked up on it. It was on, the late night comics. Everybody was talking about it. It's like, Eminem is political. At that moment, it kind of wrecked. At that moment, he went from cool to cringe for me, because it was like, oh, dude, he's this like iconic figure that did this amazing thing for rock and rap and music and pop and everything. And now he's just decided to go be like a talking head for a political movement. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I mean, this is America. You're allowed to express your opinions. But to see somebody that I had looked at as this revolutionary musician, and now all of a sudden he's like repeating taglines from like cable news, it was disappointing. It was kind of shocking. So the problem is, once you do that, it kind of changes the way that I listen to you, and I'm sure it changes the way that a lot of people will listen to your music after that. So to give a close example to this, Kid Rock. Dude, I love him. He was the American badass, and he had all these crazy metal songs, and they would play him when the wrestlers walked down to the ring. I loved him. Awesome. But then at some point, he started doing like political stuff. And whatever, it's cool. I'm not trying to judge, and I don't care that he's putting out his opinions. But the moment he did that and I saw that's what he was doing, he was no longer this like larger than life rock god. He was just some dude in a bar spouting off on how he thinks the country should be run. That's awesome. I love to have those conversations, but that's not what I look for in my music. That's not why I listen to music. I listen to music to get away from geopolitics and world news and all that stuff. I want to focus on, what the musician's doing, or the singular thought that they are having. I don't want to hear all the taglines and catchphrases from a political movement that it's being blasted out on cable news and whatever. So when I listen to the new song, wait, what is it called again? Houdini. I wasn't like looking at it like a super fan, or I wasn't looking at it with this mystical, just like, oh, this is so awesome. I was looking at it to, okay, is this going to be political? So I'm actually looking for the political. And there was actually something in there. He talks about the participation trophies, which is funny because then Kid Rock put out a song that's about participation trophies. So yeah, it's more political stuff, right? It's cool. I get it. And I know everyone gets to make their choice. But again, for me, it's like I'm listening to it, kind of trying to defend myself from whatever wave of political messaging is going to come through this time. Instead of being like, oh, where's Eminem at in his head now? It's like, oh, he's in politics mode. Cool. Right. So that kind of makes me think cringe. Right. So I go kind of back and forth between the two. But I still think, what he did for just bringing like the hip hop or rap to a mainstream, to literally all college campuses everywhere, and we were all grooving together. I mean, that's an amazing thing. So I think I'm going to go ahead and give it a cool for sure. Okay, song is really, really good. And again, the self-deprecation, that's exactly what we do in our videos here at Massive Riffs. That's kind of all you can do is once you get old. So anyway, I think that's all we had. Totally awesome video. I definitely recommend it. You know, could do without any political overtones or undertones in the song for sure, but just, you know, on its own, just looking at it, listening to it, great. Loved it. Absolutely. So take care, everyone, and stay massive.